So this is the Scugog Arts logbook. It says right there, Scugog Arts log. And there's a daily log right at the very beginning that is labeled by the week. And we list who the sitters are that week. We have the date. We ask that you track all visitors that come into Scugog Arts. We have to use this in a lot of our reporting systems, so we want to know every person that comes in and uses the space. Typically, we just grab a post-it note from here, write Tuesday on it and use little sticks to indicate people. And if there's more than one person working in the space, we designate somebody who's keeping track. And we fill that in at the end of the day, how many people were just walk-ins. And we would also record if there was a Scugog Arts program on that day. So if we were teaching kids up at the Scugog Rec Center and we knew that there were 8 kids at the Scugog Rec Center on a Monday night, we'd put in 8 kids. If we knew that the spinners and weavers were here on the Monday night because they're a group member and they use the space for their meetings, they might have 12 people at the meeting and they'll write in the number 12, or if you knew it happened, you would write it in. So that's the logbook. And there's one for every single, there's a page for every single week. Also in this book is the Scugog Arts Our Story, so that very simple reading. There's information on the art. You can sit on chairs, and you can use this if you need to identify, oh, who did the chair with the giant moose on it? Oh, that was Mina Dea, and the chair's called Glow. And in the logbook, you will also find a schedules tab, and this will give you the monthly schedules. There's usually a few months in here at a time. We just finished up February, and then there's the March schedule. It will have some of the main things going on, but also the names of the people who are gallery sitting. Also in the book, or in this schedule, let's just go back to that. After some of the months that are here, there's also the schedule for all of the exhibitions. There's a schedule that shows when artists are supposed to drop off work, what the hanging dates are for shows, and I usually have them bundled in 3 months at a time with the Sunday sitting schedule as well. And this goes out to all of the resident artists. But if you ever have a question about the dates of a show, they're in here. And then there is the gallery exhibition plan for the year, and it will tell you, the artist and the theme and what's going on in that show. And every single month is listed here, along with the due dates for inventory. So lots of information is in more than one place. We have a monthly operational plan where we've mapped out when we want to do certain things in-house. And we've always done a schedule with key dates for our resident artists. We have a schedule with the board meetings in here. We also do a basic planning calendar for the year that will tell us when some of the basic programming, broad strokes of basic programming are. There's a complete contact list of people that are on the board, resident artists, key people in the BIA or with the township. We haven't updated it yet, but we'll have the council list in here, new council. And all of the guides are in here. So the COVID process we used to have, the sitting guide, it's got the Wi-Fi access right at the top of the sitting guide. And it just tells you everything to do. It's in these training videos, but it's also here in printed copy, because sometimes you just want to be reminded of something that you want to look up and you don't want to go online. The checkout process is here. How to ring in a sale, it's all in here. And so if you ever have a question while you're doing a checkout, this is often a good way, or you might want to read it if you haven't been in for a couple of months. The May I Help You guide is a guideline for delivering accessible customer service. A good read every once in a while to remind yourself. And then there are all kinds of procedure guides in here, how the inventory is done and so on. If you happen to be working on some of these things and you need to reference a process guide, they're in here. We often keep some of the current inventory forms in here if they're brand new. So somebody that's got a show on, we'll often keep their inventory form right here in handy, just to double check our signs and things like that. If you ever need it, our current strategic plan is in here, but also information on all the current programs and events. And it typically is one that has some of the ongoing things, and then it will have what's going on in the next 3 months in here. So if you want to be reminded about workshops that are going on, if you're a volunteer or a staff here, you're probably already signed up for the newsletter and you will have gotten all this information, but then here it is all written down for you, and you might have a customer asking you, oh, you know, when's your next show? Oh, do you have a workshop planned? And you don't remember. It's all in here. We often even put our workshops in separately, and workshop schedules are in here. And we often have listings of things like what else is going on in the community. We have resident artist processes in here. Listing of our resident artist group. So if you want to remind yourself of who all the artists are in the space, there's a really good listing of all of our resident artists and a bio about them. There's a listing about all the other shop members that aren't resident artists. You might be interested in doing that. Information about the Indigenous artists whose work we carry. There's a section on other things that are going on in the community. So if we get some newsletters from other people, if we've got an extra version of a poster, we'll pop it in here. So that kind of tells you. There's an on now section too. So sometimes our current shows and so on we'll list that in on now, or other things that are going on in the area. So everything's in this book for you to read in printed format.